Moscow now says it's ready to discuss a prisoner swap a day after Brittney Griner was sentenced by a Russian court to 9 years in prison. The WNBA star was found guilty of smuggling cannabis oil into the country earlier this year. Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez has the latest.
The White House says that the president himself is involved in the efforts to bring Griner home. In a letter to the president just last month, she begged for his help and said she is terrified that she'll never make it out of Russia. Nikki?
Nancy, Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced this morning, as you know, that Moscow is prepared to negotiate on Griner and Whelan. What's the latest you're hearing about this? Does this mean prisoner swap negotiations can resume?
It sounds like that. We also heard from Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister who is traveling in Cambodia. He said that they are prepared to negotiate through channels that have already been set up. So it appears that the two sides are now ready to talk. Of course, that's very different from striking a deal. It's still unclear exactly what Russia would want in exchange for Brittney Griner being set free. They have expressed interest in a former Russian spy who was convicted of murder in Germany. They would like to see him released. That clearly would add an entirely new layer of complexity to this situation if they're seeking to bring a third country into the mix here. So simply put, and sorry for the construction work that's taking place behind us, Nikki, as we do this morning live shot, but simply put, talks are beginning, but we still don't have any clear indication of how long those talks are going to last.
Nancy, where does Griner's case go from here? Is there an appeals process in Russia that she can go through?
There is an appeals process. Her lawyers now have 10 days to file an appeal, and they say they will do that. But no one seriously expects that that's going to do anything to change either her conviction or her sentencing. She was sentenced to 9 years in a penal colony, and so they'll go through the motions, but they believe that her conviction was always baked in and that she was always going to be used as a pawn for Russia to try to extract some concessions from the U.S. or to try to bring some of their citizens home.
What else can President Biden and his administration realistically do at this point to get Griner and Whelan back to the U.S.?
Negotiations with Russia are the only option. And, you know, it's worth pointing out how unusual it is for U.S. officials to be this forthright about proposals that they have made, about prisoner swaps that they are offering. You know, typically they try to keep those things really on the down low because they don't want to send a message to any would-be bad actor that, hey, if you just take a U.S. citizen prisoner for any reason, then you'll have leverage to try to get someone you want freed. In this case, they say that they felt that they had no choice but to sort of put it out there in the public eye because they had made an offer to the Russians and they say they were getting no serious response. Now they say they are at least starting to engage in talks with the Russians. But as you know, Nikki, these talks can sometimes drag on for years, which is obviously something that Griner's family, her teammates, her friends are hoping will not be the case this time.
Yes, indeed. So many people here hoping to bring her home. Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome.